everybody and welcome to In My Mug episode 119 on Monday the 21st of February 2011. My name is Steve Layton and I like coffee more than I like sunburn and jet lag. Yeah, do not adjust your computer or iPad. I really have decided to turn myself the has-been red colour. I've also managed to sunburn my lips. And I've also managed to get a cold. Even managed to get a cold while in the warm climes of El Salvador and Costa Rica. And I apologise about the sound, but the wonders of Air Canada have lost my bags, and in my bag is my microphone, so I'm having to go with the microphone off the camera. So yeah, I arrived back in the UK around about 3 hours ago, and I've not slept for around about 48 hours. So I think today's In My Mug might be a little bit more rambly than normal, a little bit more weird, and a little bit kind of more not making a great deal of sense. I was going to try and film this while I was on the trip, but it kind of didn't feel right when I sat down to film it and I was talking about a Brazilian coffee in El Salvador or Costa Rica. So I kind of decided it was going to be better to try the different drinks when I got home in a more friendly and familiar environment than doing it somewhere that didn't really tie in with the coffee. Kind of wish I'd done it now in El Salvador because I feel like horrible at the moment. This is not a good look. But yeah, the trip was amazing. Some great friends of old, some great friends of new. I've got around about 500-600 photos and I'm going to sift through and put up onto Flickr over the next couple of weeks, so with lots about that coming up and hopefully some blog posts. Let's talk about the coffee. This week's coffee is kind of a stark contrast to the previous 2 weeks worth that we've had. This coffee I know lots about. I was lucky enough to visit the farm last August when I was on my Brazil trip, and it's Brail Fazenda Judas, grown by Antonio Ringo. Antonio is a kind of a producer that has been well rewarded and awarded for his work in producing fine coffee, and he has a couple of excellent wins and fourths, and he also did very well this year as well. Based in the region of Chiapa Diamantina in the state of Bahia. It's grown in a small town called Piata, where we have done a great deal of business. The Sol Nascente and the Santos, Espírito de Santos, and also this one. This was the one that kind of started it all and started my love with Piata. And this is the third year of the relationship with Antonio, and I'm very, very pleased about that. The varietal is Catura, which is a fantastic varietal for that area. It grows very well at that altitude of around about 1100, 1200 metres, which is actually quite low in coffee growing terms, but quite high in Brazil coffee growing terms. And in that unique climate it seems to thrive, and we've seen lots of coffees kind of come from there. When I visited the farm was incredibly clean, and I'm going to drop some pictures in at the break to show you how amazing a place it is. But I find a very tidy and well organised farm, and with the trip being last week, this is kind of very prominent in my head. Tidy, clean, well organised farms tend to produce great coffee. It's not always the way, but it's very cool. I wasn't planning on going to see this farm on the trip, but we were passing by, and the guys I was with said, well, Antonio will be in the town centre, so we drove into the town square, and there he was. His house is right by there, and an absolutely amazing host. Let's do some numbers. So the farm is Brail Fazenda Judas. It's a Cataí. It's grown in the Chiapa Diamantina area of Bahia in Piata. Grown at around about 1200 metres above sea level. Owned by Antonio Ringo, and yeah, I think that's pretty much everything about the coffee. So, before I fall asleep, I'm going to whack you on pause. I'm hopefully going to show you some of the photos now, because I'm sure I've got them done. If you don't see many photos, I hadn't got them done, and it was another one of my strange hallucinations. But I'm going to whack you on pause, I'm going to go make some coffee, and I will be back in just a moment.
So this is going to be another one of the photo kind of slideshows of my trip in Brazil earlier on in the year. Kind of forgot about them and just picking them up again now. So this was Brazil Fazenda São Judas, which is in Piata, in Tiapa Diamantina, in the Bahia region of Brazil. The farm is owned by Antonio Ringo, who has become quite a famous guy since his coffee on the neighbouring farm won the Cup of Excellence. This finished 4th in the Cup of Excellence and really kind of cleared up this year. You can see why he cleared up when you look at the farm. He had beautiful equipment, he had beautifully laid out patios, everything seemed to be done properly, and he really seemed to care about the final cup, which, you know, is so rare and unusual. And yeah, I just wanted to share some of these photos with you, so I hope you enjoyed.
Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, if the pictures came up, that's great. I didn't dream it, but if they don't, then I did dream it, and there'll be something bodged together. I do apologise about this week's. I am incredibly tired. And I do apologise about the sound, as I've already said, that's in my case. As was the mug I was going to use this week for the brewed coffee. Listen, I'm going to dive straight into the espresso. So a little bit of a swirl. Okay, so this coffee is a real espresso coffee. It's sweet, like big time sweetness. You've got like a cocoa sweetness in there, chocolate, honeycomb, and even with my horrible cold that I've got coming, and I am going to be suffering this week like a poor little flower. You can tell this is, you know, I can taste it coming through even with my taste buds dulled as they are. So let's dive into milk. Okay, sweetness of the milk goes really well with the sweetness of the coffee. It could be that I'm just desperate for a coffee, is the part, because I haven't had one since like yesterday morning, Costa Rica time. So, but you really, the sweetness works well with it. You don't get a lot else coming through apart from that chocolate sweetness. A lot of the honeycomb and the kind of the cocoa stuff coming through doesn't come through so much in the milk, but you just get like a milk chocolate which just runs all the way through. Going to show you a picture of the roast colour now. As you can see, this is a medium roast coffee. Doesn't need to be taken dark at all. You know, it's kind of before second crack, but not too light, because you want it to be able to get those chocolate flavours coming through. Snozzer in the bowl, as if I can smell a lot here, but okay, well, you smell a little bit, and I can kind of remember this coffee because this is the 3rd year of us having this coffee, and we did cup it a few times before I went away, and it smells. You just get that natural sweetness kind of really coming through in the aromas. And let's try the brewed coffee. I'm sorry if this is rubbish. You've got to forgive me. I really do feel bad. Maybe I'll do this coffee again in the future and delete this video forever. That is good. And Andy's made this one, because Andy's hiding down there, because he picked me up from the airport and brought me straight up here to do this. And Andy's rubbish at Chemex, but he's actually done a really good job on this one. You can taste that chocolate, you can taste that honeycomb. Yeah, a real winner for me. So, order of preference. I'm going to put the espresso as first. I really like the espresso. I've really missed espresso this week as well, so it's lovely to have an espresso. I'm going to put the brewed coffee a second, and in milk, I like it, but it just lacks a little bit of depth in the milk. You don't get those complexity of flavours coming through as much as you do in the other two. So yeah, so figures for this farm: called Brazil Fazenda São Judas, varietal is Cataí, region is Tiapa Diamantina, which is in the state of Bahia in Brazil. It's a pulp natural coffee grown at an altitude of around about 1100-1200 metres, owned by Antonio Ringo, and is an amazing coffee. So, 3 things to know about this coffee. One, Antonio has won many awards, as I've already said, but you win awards by being a very good producer, and I think Antonio is a superb producer. 2, it's very close to the Sol Nascente that we've had before, and in fact Antonio lends the mill to the guys at São Judas because they can't afford their own. When you get guys like that helping each other, again, it's a very big generalisation, but it tends to be good people grow good coffee. So there's that. Cup profile is chocolate, cocoa, and I really get that kind of crunchy chocolate bar when I can taste things. I can't so much today, but if you don't know what I mean by crunchy bar, like honeycomb, kind of sweet, almost a little bit caramelly, and a delicious long aftertaste on it. Right, I'm going to finish. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go in the bathroom and go to bed. Actually, I'm going to edit this first. But yeah, I'm going to go. Listen, life's too short for not sleeping. No, it's not that. Life's too short for jet lag. Life's too short for sun, but no, life's too short for bad